We are back, it's the vGïx. I'm one of your hosts, Geith, and this is...
Jim, the other host of the vGïx.
And today we are going to be reviewing another Lego set.
It is the 60388 Lego City GamingTournament Truck.
And today we're going to look at what is good about it, but we're also going to look at what is bad about it.
Yes, as live streaming influencers, we feel like it's our responsibility to tell you the 5 things that are most unrealistic about this set when it comes to live streaming.
So let's get into it. Kablamo!
Well, that's it. That's the build for the Lego City GamingTournament Truck. Now, before we get into the 5 things that are a little bit unrealistic about this in the live streaming space, we're going to talk about some of the good things about it. It's a pretty cool set because it does shed some light on esports. It's something that people are into, so it's good to be able to have some representation for that.
Another thing I really liked was all of the moving parts. So it's got like moving characters that can move back and forth, moving doors, and moving scores. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I also like some of the other options where you've got swivel chairs coming in and out, that type of thing, as well as a merch store, which is pretty rare when it comes to Lego.
And it's a truck. So
yeah,
that's also pretty cool.
Always great to get a vehicle when you have Lego, you have the truck, and you also have a trailer that you could potentially build into something else. All right, now to the 5 things that were a little bit unrealistic about this Lego set. Firstly, this is an esports tournament, or that's what it's supposed to be, and where's the production equipment? I've never seen an esports tournament that hasn't been live streamed, so I think it's a little bit disappointing that there isn't actually any live stream production equipment on this. No face cams, no cameras, a lot of different things, no cabling, no wireless transmitters. Everything has kind of been left off this particular set.
The second item is around latency. So looking at the screens, the big IMAG screens, they're clearly not using a good implementation of IMAG because they don't align with what are seen on the computer screens. So there's a timing issue, some sort of latency issue, or I mean, potentially we could give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe it's an instant replay that's playing out and that's why the timing looks different. But I've got my doubts, so I'm gonna give that a negative stamp.
Yeah, unfortunately there is no replay equipment, so how do you know if it's replay or not? One of my gripes is the fact that there's a lot of console information on this. So you've got a thing on top here, you've got a trophy, which is a console controller, and clearly the people are playing on a PC with a keyboard and mouse. So that, again, for me, is a little bit disappointing.
It's silly, isn't it? Yeah, very, very silly. The next thing that we noticed was there's no production crew. So there's no equipment, but there's also no one actually running the production. So how are they bringing all of these things in and cutting to different cameras or cutting to different screens and things like that? We thought maybe the lady that is holding a little phone, maybe she was remoting into a remote system and doing all of the switching that way, which would have been really cool if that's what she was doing. But you look at that little screen and it looks more like she's just listening to an MP3, maybe something on Spotify. I don't know. It could be anything. So very disappointing there.
And finally, the merch situation with Geith is going to tell us a little bit more about.
Absolutely. There's just not enough merch. All you've got is 1 sword and 2 power gloves. Once you've sold them, what do you do?
Well, it's weird to me. Like personally, I wouldn't have swords and power gloves being sold to the public. I think that's probably a little bit irresponsible. I'd probably be selling t-shirts and mouse pads and that type of thing. All right, so that's a wrap up of the GamingTournament Truck from Lego City. This is going to be the first in a long series of live streaming related Lego sets that we plan to do in the future, so keep your eye out for that.
Thanks very much for watching, and kablamo!